I got Will here with me, and what we're gonna talk about is basically humility and what it really means to humble yourself and to let go of ego.
Or at least try to.
At least try to.
For the majority of us, it's really not possible. And they dare not try. It's a hard thing to let go of the ego.
Why you feel it's so hard for people to let go of ego?
That's how most people identify with themselves. The ego is what you know as you're growing up and learning yourself, so to speak. That's what you come to know first. It's your ego. It's all the things that you pay attention to, the things you want people to pay attention to. Not really paying attention to what's inside. The ego is very large to start and will only continue to grow large if not checked. So that in itself explains why it's so hard for people to let go of their ego.
Now, the definition of ego is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really your overall self of what you represent.
It's all that you know about yourself. The first thing you learn is what you pay attention to, what's being presented to you by way of someone else. So what you tend to see about yourself really depicts what other people are seeing at the same time. And it's more so what you want out of that versus what you need out of that. So the wants have always, that's an ego. It's part of the ego. Your wants always outweigh your needs. It's a natural part of life. Most people tend to go for their wants over what they need.
But needs is more so given. See, God know your needs, and then I feel like it's certain things that you need that you really can't go out necessarily in the society we live in. I feel like you need some sort of roof over your head. I feel like you need the essentials of, how do we say? Basically, you need food, water, clothes, essentially, to sum everything all up. It's pretty much what you need to go by everyday life. Now, you can break those three things down, and let's just say my clothes are just to cover me. All right, so if we doing that, we could break it down to, I don't know, just a tank top or just leaves or whatever I can get my hands on to cover my body so I'm not naked is clothing. All right, but that ain't what we walking around in.
Well, no, it's a sense of shelter, the roof, the clothing. That's what the need of it is. That's the necessity behind it. It's for shelter, for cover. I still kind of lean toward the idea or ask myself the question, and I ask other people, what if Adam and Eve never realized that they were naked? Like, where would we be? Everybody be walking around flangling, dangling.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Hanging.
So, and would nobody care? Because that's just what it is. So, in a sense, it's really just a cover. It's just shelter. Nobody likes to be cold. So once you catch that chill and you realize you don't like it, you looking for some cover.
Or too hot.
Or too hot, you looking to get undressed. You want to sit around in your drawers, you know what I'm saying? Or in a t-shirt while it's hot. You don't want to sit up fully dressed. The need for shelter, for cover, I think that's more the self-preservation than anything else. And that too is a part of the ego. To think that it's all you, like you need nothing else and nobody else, that's ego. We're not here to be by ourselves. We're not here to be alone.
Right.
And the ego is what messes people over. And that's what have people feeling like they just can't. Like they just have to.
Gotta have it my way. It's my way, no way.
That's basically it. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. If you don't roll how I'm rolling, hey, there's the dough. You can roll.
Dough. Yeah.
But the big but is that humility part. When you can step in and you can humble yourself to any situation, and really what it breaks down to for me is understanding true love to me. Because real true love to me is really putting other people before yourself. Meaning, I'm not saying I gotta take care of my whole family before I take care of myself, or I gotta take care of the whole neighborhood before I take care of myself. What I'm saying is putting other people first is, if you know something is offensive to people in the room, before you speak it, you're thinking of it, and you're thinking of how it's going to affect people around you. You moving in a way where you thinking of, you basically playing chess, thinking of every move of how it affects the people around you. And what you want to do is put out the best positive message, or the best positive you period at all times. Now, that don't necessarily always happen. We just do what we want to do without thinking.
And that's it. That's one of the things that kind of resonated with me with The Alchemist. To go to the aspect of true love. Nobody, none of us, and this is a realization that I had to come to, being the person that I am, none of us really understand what true love is. We don't pay attention enough. But it's a sacrifice. And that sacrifice is not, it's non-negotiable for one. But the main gist is it's a sacrifice for all. It's a sacrifice for everything that you are to yourself, to others, what others are to you. It's a sacrifice of all that. And to not be willing to make that sacrifice on any level, there's no true understanding of what true love is. You just can't have it.
I also feel like true love is not really trying to bring harm to others as well, though in scenarios in society will bring you to that. Like, somebody mess with your wife, kids, you feel like they got to go.
Yeah.
But
and you know how I feel. I told you, yeah, somebody was to hurt my sister, my daughters, my mom, I don't care who it is. I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I'm coming.
Got to go.
Now, to say that I'm going to take somebody's life, no, I can't say that, because I know that I won't. I'm just not that type of dude. At the same time, you're going to understand what you did to me. Now, not to negate from what you did to whomever, I have to sit with that. And as a human being, as a brother, a father, you know what I mean? As a man, that don't sit well with me.
Yeah.
So I have no quarrel about standing up for mine. Again, for me, that's a part of that sacrifice. And I'm willing to pay it. But I'm not willing to pay whatever somebody may deem the price of life is. That's not something I'm willing to pay.
So essentially you saying you go get this work, but you ain't gonna die from it.
No, not at all. Not by my hand. You ain't. No.
You can be close to it, but we go get you on this life support, pat
I'm
you up.
definitely gonna make you think about it. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, any man would, when it comes to something that they proclaim to love. I ain't never been in no short-term relationship. For me, it's all or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you everything I got. You decide whether you want it or not. Now, that plays a big part of my ego. But I'm able to humble myself enough to understand that maybe that just ain't enough. I mean, or maybe I won't fit the bill. I can swallow that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I can humble myself enough to do that.
Right.
That's a part of that sacrifice. So I'm learning. I can't say that I have it 100% because I don't. You know what I'm saying? But I'm learning. I'm paying attention.
Right.
And that's where we need to be in order to understand humility. You have to be able to sacrifice
And let go of ego.
let go of the ego.
You gotta let go of everything to understand humility. Also, you gotta be okay with being embarrassed.
Yes. Yes.
You can't embarrass me. There's nothing you can do to embarrass me. If I did it, I can. Hey, I did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just what it is. I mean, I
It's
gotta deal with that.
Yeah, it's
That's
the
my
feeling,
own.
the feeling of being embarrassed. That yeah, that's a big part of
Yeah.
the ego that needs to be let go.
Yeah. I don't know why I don't harness any of those emotions. I feel sometimes I'm a real emotionalist person, but have so many emotions. I don't even make sense, but
But it does.
Yeah, but it does.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I think that it's the display that you don't have. I won't say that you don't have emotions. We all have emotions. But the display of said emotions is where you're at. Yeah.
yeah.
Mine's, I wear them on my sleeve sometimes. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel.
But I don't have a problem expressing them. I can display my emotions very easily. And not feel bothered by it.
Right.
To be able to do that is a strength in itself.
Yeah.
Because that shows your character, that weighs on your character. And it's seen. It's like an unspoken word.
Right.
When you've spoken many words.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's heavy. And it's one of the things that we have to be conscious of. A lot of people just aren't. So take it's normal phrase, or it should be common sense.
Which ain't.
There's no such thing.
No such thing.
What's normal to you ain't normal to me, and vice versa. What makes sense to you should probably make sense to me, but it really don't. You know what I mean? So,
and we getting into that assume box.
Yeah, it's nothing to argue about. You just understand that you have a understandable disagreement, if you will.
That's where that judging come from.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
it's
people always feel judged by everything.
Anything.
The way you look,
anything.
the comments you make, the action you display.
Yes.
And I feel like people saying judging is a cop out. Like, I grab a cigarette and I'm smoking, and you know, you give me the side eye. Now my first instinct is, why are you judging me? Mm-hmm. Like, whether you gave me a side eye or not, that ain't physically doing nothing over here to me. I'm still going to smoke if that's what I'm doing.
It's the amount of attention you pay to it. See, and that's another phrase. Paying attention costs you nothing. I said that a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Growing up. To pay attention, it don't cost you nothing.
It's free, but
it costs you.
Can't afford it.
It costs you. The more you pay attention to something, the more into it you are. So yeah, to pay attention to somebody giving you the side eye, you didn't gave it too much already because you know they gave you the side. I don't care about you giving me no side eye. I'm smoking my cigarette. You know what I'm saying? So,
Exactly. Essentially, if you go do you, do you.
right. I
You know
don't
what I'm
care.
saying?
I don't care what you looking at.
Yeah.
I don't care if you sit and spark up a blunt. Go for it.
Do
I
you.
may ask you to pass him one time.
Do you.
But for me to put that amount of energy into you giving me the side eye because I didn't lit a cigarette, I didn't gave too much already. You know what I'm saying? So for people to sit up and want to gossip and
But we do it all day, every day without even thinking about it. With no consciousness. Just
because
man.
it's the social norm.
Yeah.
There go that word. See that? It's the social. It's what everybody does.
Yeah.
Nowhere around it. In order to hold a conversation, you end up involving somebody who either isn't present. You know what I mean? See, that's very improper of me. Excuse me. Is not present.
I think about how people could change that by simply complimenting who you talking to.
Yeah, but even the compliment, that's the thing. Even the compliment, you're involving
the person that's physically in front of you.
Isn't there.
Where they at?
You see what I'm saying? The gossip can go in a good, positive conversation, or it could be a bad, negative conversation.
Is it still gossip if it's positive?
Yeah, because the true definition of gossip is conversation
about
anything other than self. There isn't a whole lot of conversation you can have about self without a debate happening. Because I'm going to talk about myself, you're going to talk about yourself, and then the comparison is going to start.
So, a casual or unconstrained conversation or reports about other people typically involving details that are not confirmed as being true.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, running your mouth about somebody,
that third person, that outside person that ain't there, you could be talking about them in a good way or a bad way. But absence of the conversation is what makes it gossip.
If it's not true.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's why people say, why are you talking about me?
They can feel it.
You see what I'm saying?
They can feel it.
Why are you talking about me?
Yeah, typically involves details that are not confirmed as being true. So
that's just one side.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
So just speaking about somebody is instantly gossip.
In its entirety, to sit and hold conversation about somebody that isn't present, that's gossip.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I could be saying 101 good things. You know what I mean? And not to say that that person will have a problem with it afterwards, but in their mind, they're thinking, why are you sitting up talking about me? You see what I'm saying? So
now, if you're talking about me and it's good, should it matter?
It's going to matter.
Why?
Because the attention that you gave to it. You're sitting here talking about me and I'm not present.
I don't know, though. I'm not present. I don't know you talking about me.
No, but if you found out, see, that's where the gossip come in at.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
When you find out, hey, y'all was over there talking.
When that person finds out.
But again, when you find out it was a good thing, like, I heard a lot about you. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
Not saying that,
what they tell you,
not
you know?
saying that they don't have a problem with it, but understanding that that's a part of gossip also.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. It's talking about an individual who isn't present to speak up for themselves during the time that the conversation was happening.
Right.
That's all it is. It's all around. I'm saying good things about you, and that's what you hear. You know, yeah, I heard good things about you. It'll be the same way. The only difference is now it's negative, and you get nothing but anger. Why you talking about me? You know what I'm saying? I ain't nowhere to be found. Why you sitting there running your mouth about me?
But you typically only hear that when there's something negatively involved.
Right. Yeah.
Which means.
So that's the negative side of gossip. And then there's the positive side of gossip.
Yeah.
It's still one
Yin and yang.
big
man.
circle.
You gotta have the left and the right.
That's
up and
it.
the down.
That's it. And you can't say good things about everybody all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because now there's a void in there. Because now it seemed like you're ass kissing. You know what I mean? Or just the opposite. It seemed like you just always got a problem with this person. So that void is in there. Now you got to distinguish, okay, is it not? You know what I mean? So now you weighing the pros and cons. And that's where the judgment comes in. Not saying that it's from a bad place.
Right.
Judgment ain't got to be a bad thing. But that's what we do. It's just like can't read or you won't know this book. You can't understand this book if you don't open it. Because you can't look at the cover and say, oh, yeah, that book ain't shit. You got to open it up.
Gotta go get some knowledge.
In reading that book, now you start to make judgments about it. It's the only way you can. To prejudge. That's the problem. That's the problem most people just fail to deal with. Is prejudging. I don't know you. I don't know nothing about you.
But I heard.
But you
about
heard.
You. Yeah, I heard about you though.
You don't know me.
What you hear though.
Could be all good things.
Some people don't care if it's good or not. If I ain't present, don't be speaking on me.
Don't speak on me, yeah.
Because you don't know me.
Here it is. I care not that you speaking on me. I don't care. What are you going to do?
You know, most people talk that smoke talk, but once confronted, really never usually goes anywhere. And if it do go somewhere, we done smoke talk, like I say all the time, is death is at the end of that.
Well,
that's the peak of smoke.
That's that price that you don't want to pay. You know, you done paid all this money. You done paid all this attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you get down to your last. What you gonna do? Now you just spent everything you had damn near. You know what I'm saying?
Pocket lint. Is it worth pocket lint?
You ain't got nothing but change left.
Your life is worth pocket lint.
You gonna keep on going, or you gonna realize that you done paid too much attention to this. So to understand that aspect of it, any attention to anything other than self, knowing your real self, not the portrait of yourself, because that's what this is. This is the portrait of yourself.
So what is being real?
Being real, in my opinion, will be never wavering, never faltering. Being just what you are.
And who are you?
For me, I can only speak on me. I am a light. I am a beacon of light. That's what I am.
Gotta shine.
That's it. No matter what the capacity is. Now, I can't say, because I've said it before, I ain't no killer. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing about me that's going to represent a killer. That being said, I'm not the overbearing Mr. Nice Guy either. You know what I'm saying? I can carry myself at an even scale and work both sides of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. That's the light that's in me. That's the light that I believe I am.
I feel like real is an well, personally, I feel like real to me is again being your authentic self, meaning again you don't waver.
Yeah.
Like you don't sway back and forth. However, just because you stating I'm being real, also some part of consciousness has to click in and say, you know what, this ain't necessary right now. I can't really do what I want to do right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to turn up, but that ain't this right now.
Yep.
You know?
No.
Then that's being smart enough to know, hey, it's a time and a place
for
to handle things.
For everything.
And everything is in moderation too, so you gotta know how to bring that back a little bit.
All things in moderation. Yeah. No, that's exactly what I was finna get ready to get into. Because that turn up moment, you can turn up. You don't have to turn completely up. Remember, there's
levels,
10 digits on the dial. You know what I'm saying? You can go all the way up to 10. You don't have to go all the way up to 10 to turn up.
Yeah.
You start off on 1, you turn up to 2, you done turned up. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So all things in moderation. Just like the turn off. When I'm done, I'm done. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can turn all the way off, or
turn down.
I can turn down to just above 0. You know what I mean? Because 0 ain't off. You know, there's still a click after the 0. I can turn right.
Just on.
I'm just on.
Just on.
That's it. I'm on.
Right on.
Understand that the light is shining. I'm still there.
The peephole.
That's it.
Under the door, the crack.
I'm coming through everything.
A little bit. You know I'm there.
Everything. I'm coming through.
Yeah.
Understand you're dark. I'm light.
I feel like in society, real is an overused term in society where I'm real. I'm the realest one here. I'm the realest one in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always a bad stigma usually attached to that.
Yeah.
Like,
because if you gotta sit and
tell somebody you real is the action. You can't, you shouldn't have to say anything. It's an action.
Say absolutely nothing.
It's a 100% action. So to speak on it, you got something a little bit off with you.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it myself. I've used it in that sense.
Yeah, I've used it. I mean, being young, you know what I mean? That's what we grew up with. So, yeah. But, and I say this with the utmost, and no judgment, right? You know, I like to dress. You know what I'm saying? I buy my clothes to wear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no special gear. I got dress clothes. That's not meant for the setting that we're in on a daily basis. So no, those clothes don't get worn too often. But everything else, yeah, I'm finna rock my clothes. Now, to have somebody come to me and say, "Oh, you think you cute?" You know what I'm saying? You think you this and this? No, I don't. But you do.
It's that prejudge that
You
goes back
see what I'm
into that
saying?
situation.
So yeah, you think I am. So that's enough for me. I don't have to.
That used to be a big thing back in middle school, where just school in general. It was a big thing,
That's
and
where it
especially when
started.
you came to school with some new anything. Or you think you thought it.
You can
spoke
come to
it. I
school
ain't even
with the
said
new
nothing
trapper
yet.
keeper with the
Oh,
garbage
man.
pail stickers on it.
Yo,
Yeah.
you think you the you know what I mean? Like, no,
You just think you the bomb. Huh? No. But
you do.
You see what I'm
Definitely.
saying? So that's enough. And if we understood that,
What is that
more
that
clear-
comes out of a person as you think you? You just instantly go there. Man, you think you.
That's the
Like,
judge. That's the prejudgment.
What was that in you that was just so tough to just have you just come
Cut
from the other
into
side
me
of
like
the
that?
room? Like,
Yeah.
yo, my man think he.
That's that
you know,
ego.
like, what is that?
Because
Like,
now you
come out of nowhere.
offended. You offended his ego. See what I'm saying? It's something about his ego that he didn't like about his ego didn't like about you. You know what I'm saying? You made his ego or her ego off kilter.
Yeah.
The ego wasn't straight when they saw you. Something happened, and it made them snap real quick.
Yeah.
That it made them go into that prejudgment mode.
What you think a role model should be?
A role model.
I feel like
I think we all I don't think it comes down to just one specific person. That's the thing about understanding self. Is we take bits and pieces from everything in our lives. We take bits and pieces from it. So you're your own role model. There's nothing outside of you. You're your own role model. You got this, you got that, you got that, you got this. You know what I'm saying? You picking up all these bits and pieces from everywhere. It's what you do with them.
yeah.
That's what makes the role model.
I feel like a role model is really a true role model. The ultimate role model, I feel like the ultimate role model is a Christ-like role model. A role model is somebody is someone you look up to in a sense of whatever surrounding you kind of usually come from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody that's actually doing good or bad, because it's still a role that, you know, a path that you're trying to connect to.
Yeah.
You see some likeness and similarities in what you may like in a person of how they carry themselves. And now you instantly are looking up to somebody. But that person might not know that they are a role model. So with that being said, if you know...
Well, no, see, that's different, because that's just somebody that you're idolizing.
Mm,
See what I'm saying? That's somebody that you are looking at, that you see something that entices you for a minute. That same person could be doing the same thing 15 years from now, and you didn't moved on.
no longer a role model or no longer idolized.
So that's an idol. It's something that you look to. That's the reason why I say there's no role model but yourself.
To lead by example.
You to lead by example.
And the only example that you can lead by is true action, which means you have to do.
You have to do. Yes.
You can't talk.
Even if you talk it, it has to be followed up by action. So me saying that everything's mental, right? Everything started with a thought. And with that thought came a voice that spoke everything into existence. Now, after that voice, then things started to happen. You know what I'm saying? Action took place after those words. So everything mental first. It's how you see it. It's how you want to see it. I told you, my baby asked me, how you know how to cook like that? Where you learn that from? It's something I thought about. I see what I want, and I set out to make it.
Mix it up.
Now, I know what I want to see when I'm done. I know what I want to taste when I'm done. So the whole time, I'm smelling what I'm cooking, right? I'm paying attention to all that, how I'm putting it together, how I'm preparing it in the pan, how I want it to look on my plate when I'm done. I know what I want it to taste like. When I'm done, I like what I just made.
Got a finished product. So
That's
essentially what that is the a root of life.
So it starts with a thought. Everything starts with a thought.
You sit back, you think about what you want to do, plan it, execute. However, what gets missed is somewhere in between that planning, life happened for real.
Yeah.
And you can't prevent none of that because
No.
your destiny is already lined up. So I could plan to come over here today and, set this podcast up. But in the process of me getting here, could have got held up by a train, accident could have happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I planned to come over here, but didn't necessarily get here. You know what I'm saying?
No, the thing is, the thought happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thought being, no matter what, I'm finna do something with this tonight. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the thought was already there. The voice came in by talking about it. We talked about it earlier. We talked again later in the evening about it. So the voice was there. Now,
repetition.
The action came in when you came here with the setup. That's the action.
Yeah.
And even though this not the full-on podcast right now, it's in the making.
It's an intro.
See what I'm saying? So
it's a filler.
It started with the thought.
Yeah.
The thought is what set everything in motion.
Yeah.
That brought us to this moment right here. Everything is a thought.
Yeah. So why not think the best at all times, though?
Because what we deem as reality sets in.
And what reality is that?
What we see on a daily basis with these two eyes.
So
the interactions that we have to have with other individuals.
So how should those interactions and what you see dictate what you should really be doing or what you really feel inside to do was right or what you feel is right?
Well, you first have to ask yourself, am I right?
Are you bringing harm to other people?
No. Am I right? Period. Not involving nobody else.
Oh, am I mental? It's my mental right. Am I aligned?
Yes.
Is my alignment tight?
Yeah, am I right?
Yeah,
That's
probably
the first
not.
thing. Probably not.
Probably
Right.
not.
Because and it's kind of condescending to say, but at the same time, there's a lot of truth behind it. If you take in others over yourself, you'll never get yourself. So again, that's why I say it's condescending, because it weighs on that sacrifice of true love. And you cannot love anybody outside of yourself if you don't truly love yourself. There's no way possible.
Here's the question. What does loving yourself really mean?
Understanding yourself.
Loving yourself is understanding?
Knowing yourself. See, we all sit and say, yeah, I know myself. I know me. And whatever. But you don't. You know what I mean? You know the labels that have been placed on you. You know the feelings that come to you because of another. That's what you know. That's what people pay attention to. That's the ego. To know yourself is to be able to move on one accord,
alignment
with yourself, understanding that you're not going to break your stride for nothing. You are who you are, and you own it. You have to know who you are, and the only way you're going to know it is if you own it.
So where did our compromise come in?
That compromise come in when others are involved.
Oh, so we only talking about self.
So the self knows how to finagle its way on both sides. You know what I'm saying?
Playing both sides of the fence.
It can straddle the fence and not negate either side. It can stay right there on.
It's called walking that fine line.
That's the fine line. That's the thin line.
Yeah.
Knowing yourself. Me, I'm still learning myself. As much as I know about myself and as much as I understand about myself, I'm still learning. There's a lot that I still don't know about self. And a lot of that is due to the involvement I have with other people, because that's one of the things that we have to understand. We have an abundance of energy within us to make the person next to us react any type of way we see fit. You see what I'm saying?
It's like superhero abilities.
Without acknowledging it.
It's like Xavier, some Professor X type stuff. Cerebral.
Yes.
Getting into the mindset of somebody else. But that's saying that you're putting true thought into the outcome. Trying to make adjustments before they happen. Like I said, like you might cuss, but you ain't doing it around grandma.
All right.
So you made a conscious effort to say, "Oh, I ain't gonna cuss in front of grandma."
unless grandma is cussing right along with you.
In a lot of instances that
You
happens.
see what I'm saying?
But for the most part,
Probably
not
you're
doing
not
it.
finna cuss in
You know
front
what
of
I'm saying?
grandma.
You know,
And you
I tell
probably
you what,
gonna slap the person that's next to you for cussing
in front of
your
grandma.
grandma.
Yeah, you wanna act the fool, and you normally act the fool, but you really don't act the fool in that courtroom.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get real in that courtroom.
Yep.
It's a small percent that just go nuts
Don't
in the
care.
courtroom
Yeah.
because they gone.
9 times out of 10, you go and you nut up in that courtroom, you know you're gone. You know you're done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they feel like they have no other choice. They get all their rants and raves out right there in the courtroom, more so because they have an audience.
Attention seeker.
You see what I'm saying? Because they got an audience. Closed circuit courtrooms. Mine was closed circuit, I guess. I didn't have no TV cameras. You know what I'm saying? It was my mom's and my grandma, and then the prosecutor.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no audience other than other inmates that was waiting to see the judge when I was done. That was it. I knew I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I didn't try to fight this shit. I knew I didn't want the time that they was talking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
if ain't nothing else right, I know
yeah.
I don't want no time.
I don't want that time. No, I'm good. I did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I fucked up. I know I did, but don't hit me with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when he didn't, he told me first time, dig this right here, pimp. I'm gonna go and sit you down for a minute, right? And I need you to go in and you reevaluate some things. And then I hope to never see you back in this courtroom again.
Mm-hmm.
The judge, you ain't gotta worry. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta ever worry about seeing me ever again unless we crossing paths in the street.
Now, a lot of people say that when they in there and end up being habitual offenders.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, to me, I feel like something just gone in that person where they don't even attempt to try to be right.
Yeah.
But
you're bound to come back.
Them same people usually have kids. They got family members. They got grandma. They got aunties.
Putting their house up for bail money. Yeah.
They go to Thanksgiving dinners and stuff like that, but then still be wilding out right after the dinner. Go to the club and boom, boom, boom.
Sit right outside the house and beef out with your neighbor's nephew that stayed 3 blocks over.
Just got out of jail.
He
go to the
just
homies.
got out of jail too.
You know, like, yo, so jail time is something, that whole system is all messed up. You know, I spent 14 hours in jail, and I tell you what, the 14 hours I spent in there, I can probably remember every hour, because being in there, the first thing in my mind in that jail was, this can't be real. I'm definitely walking into some other euphoric realm right now, because this just don't even seem like
this life belongs to somebody
all I
else
could do
right
was chuckle.
Yeah.
The whole time I was in there, just chuckle, do one of them all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't no fear, it wasn't no scared, but it was, I can't believe this. A disbelief. Like, this is on some real, like, I'm in here.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I can't believe that. Then to see somebody that I worked with in there as well, when I was working with the person, they had a tether on. Had just got the tether off. Now you back in here.
Yeah.
And you way young. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it you go down the system, but being in there, man, it's cold. They rude. And you don't get no love.
I told you.
Ain't no love in the jail.
When I got to Ionia, right, there was a sergeant. Mind you, I'm 32 at the time. 31, 32 at the time. This cat had to be every bit 27, 26, 27. He wasn't even 30. You know what I'm saying? And he come around telling me, lights out. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't got no privilege in here, bro.
Tell you lights out.
Out.
Count time. You know what I'm saying? What?
It's a wrap.
How old are you? You know what I'm saying? But then, to your point, the 14 hours. When I hit the county, every bit of grief that I had in me came out that night. You know what I'm saying?
That was it.
It came out that night before I was bust up to Ionia, Michigan. It had all came out that night. The judge handed down the sentence.
Oh.
I'm sitting there like, you know what I'm saying? You know you wasn't supposed to.
Yeah. You know what's coming.
I knew at that point that it was time for reflection. All right. It wasn't the fact that I was in trouble no more. Like, the powers that be. I ain't talking about man powers. I'm talking about that higher power. Said, look, man, you're destroying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for you to sit down and reevaluate some things.
I mean, I'll let you.
And that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. That's one of them things that if a lot of these guys did, females too, it don't matter. You're not exempt. Mm-hmm. Right? If you go in and you reevaluate things seriously, not just for play, for real, evaluate yourself. You see things about yourself that you don't like, and it humbles you.
Real quick.
If it doesn't humble you, you won't change. Those who don't remember the past are bound to repeat it.
Yeah. That all bring it back full circle with
it's coming back again.
Ego and humility.
So going in there and then losing my grandma while I was in there. I think that was probably my breaking point. All right, because I don't remember 3 years of my life was in there. I would be remiss if I told you I remember more than 5 days in there. You know what I'm saying? That's just how zoned I was. Nothing mattered.
After grandma.
My grandma passed my second year in there. But before and after that, I couldn't tell you anything past the quarantine at Jackson Penitentiary.
Yeah.
This is the quarantine. I can really only tell you about 5 days, and I spent like probably 60 days maybe 90 days waiting on the bed to open up in quarantine. I can only tell you seriously about 5 of them days. And it's solely because that was my first experience at not being able to move how I want to move. I move, don't nobody move like me.
Who was in quarantine?
Quarantine, that's Jackson's prison has become like a staging area.
Oh, so you in there with thousands just chilling. The holding block.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, that's
essentially.
they're just holding you there
chilling.
A bed open up. It's a bigger county is what it is.
Man. You just chilling every day. Everybody just stacked on top of each other.
You got 1 hour of rec time.
Oh, at least you got something.
That was at midnight. You see what I'm saying?
At least you got something. I'll be honest with you. If I'm probably the wrong person to be running in jail because you won't get no time. You ain't going outside. You ain't doing nothing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got 23 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You are in a cell.
I'm breaking everybody. We doing 90-day breaks. Nobody coming out the cell, in the cell, nothing.
No.
And until you understand what's going on.
That's the hole. That's what the hole do to you.
Mm-hmm. And then when you come out, we got some education for you to get. So you need to get detoxed.
Most of them cats lose their mind just by being in pitch black darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens to a lot of guys. They lose their mind. They don't know what it is to be
alone
with themselves. Because you're not alone.
In the hole?
No, you're never alone.
There's other people in the hole with you?
No.
No.
Mentally.
Well, yeah.
You're never alone.
Yeah.
Beyonce, me, myself, and I got this. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's all I got. Me, myself, and I. That's it. When clear over people's heads.
Right over. But it's true.
To sit in pitch black room, that's where meditation is. No noise. No visual distractions.
And cold.
Pure silence. To be taking food to these guys and walking past some of the rooms, you just hear cats just
bawling.
No, they scream. Just, you know what I'm saying? Losing it.
What do you think that? What do you think that losing it is? What do you think that come from?
That fear
of.
See, there's a fear of letting go of the ego. There's a fear in there. There's a fear in learning self and studying self. There's a big fear in there. And a lot of people can't take it. So that's where the institutionalized side of things come into play. Because now you're completely out of your mind and we need something to sedate you.
But if you out of your mind, like if you a computer, let's not use that. If you out of your mind, I can program you to be whatever I want you to be. But long as you got your mind,
I'm going to.
I can't really tap into you.
Can't do anything to me.
So you have to keep your sanity in order to get past the institutionalization stuff that's bound to happen to you if you're not conscious.
It's just like what we watch on TV, Law and Order, CSI. These shows depict death on various levels. You know what that does to the psyche?
I feel like it does that to people who live in that realm. I mean, I could sit here and watch the first 48 all day and it's not effective. I could
But
watch
it is.
Law and Order and not be effective.
You are.
I see it,
I'm
but
trying to tell you, you are.
well,
See,
I don't feel it.
I told you there's a state of depression that it puts you in. To sit and although the storyline may be interesting, you're still dealing with that one entity
Of you
which
sitting
is
there.
death. No, you're looking at death. The whole show. You know what I'm saying? You got blood spatters. You got dead bodies. You got people mentioning dead bodies throughout the whole show. So now you got death all in your subconscious, all in your conscious. It's there, just floating, waiting. So now you're gonna go to the store. You get a little hesitant at first. Maybe your mind totally blocks out what you just been traumatized with through the TV. But at the same time, you forget what you were finna go to the store for. Right? That thought comes back to you. Now you're worried about how fast you're going to be able to get in and out of the store. Or you're worried about traffic being clear. Worried about a cat crossing your path.
So you say that word 3 times. And it's called worrying.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Well, that's what happens. That's what that does. That's what the news does. That's what shows like Law and Order and CS. That's what.
So here's a better question: How do you figure you watch this stuff and not really be affected by it? Because you said
there's no way.
Oh,
there's no way.
So
it's all negative. See,
okay,
that's the thing.
So you got to flip it. You got to watch positive stuff.
Yeah,
Care Bears and happy things.
No, because that's fantasy. See, shows like CSI and like
fiction.
That's based on true events. They tell you that in the beginning of the show. It's based on true events. Although the characters may be fictitious, the names were changed to cover the identities. But the story is real.
Okay. So we're dealing with all sorts of negativity on TV and we grow into that. But what is something in you that has to break away from the negativity and say, you know what, I don't want that for me anymore. I don't have to accept that.
Yeah, once you understand what you're looking at.
How do you accept and understand what you're watching if you washed?
All you got to do is stop. There's a stop sign on the end of damn near every street that you get to the corner of.
And people run them.
Yeah.
But
guess what happens to most of those that run them?
Accidents.
They're liable to get smacked on the side real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, understand what you're looking at. Just like,
so what is the understanding supposed to make me understand?
That's like looking at shows on VH1 and MTV. Reality shows. Especially shows that involve people of color. people will label these reality shows as ratchet TV and will be completely engulfed in it.
Entertainment. There
was an analogy used with that word. I can't think of what it was. It was into me. I think it was something like that. But to think about scribes and witches using black mirrors.
That shit was crazy.
I told you about the black mirrors. That's a black mirror. That's a big dumbass black mirror sitting here on that TV stand.
Yeah.
These are just mini black mirrors.
Yeah.
So that's real because people get caught up in it. And then for most of us, for those of us that are washed, they don't know how to separate the two.
No. So, entertainment is denoting material created in part to entertain, while also serving another purpose. So, in essence, it's like a two-way street type of thing. You're entering something, means you're going to. You're in it. You're going to. You're moving forward. You're active in it.
Yeah.
You're active. I need you to be active in order for me to distract you at the same time. But if you stagnant and you're not doing anything, what good are you?
Well, if you're stagnant, you have the opportunity to think.
Make your own rules.
Make your own decisions. So if you're sitting stagnant, while looking at this TV screen, you ain't doing that. You really not even looking at it. This is where I find myself a lot of the time. Looking at TV and then looking through the TV. I hear everything, just about everything that's going on the TV. But I'm not visually paying it no attention. I done completely went through the TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's what helped me to pay attention to what I was looking at. It's like the news. The first
7 really.
I was going to say the first 5 minutes of the news, right, is either a special report
or local.
A local report that has
violent
to do with nothing but violent acts. The special report, 9 times out of 10, is going to be about the president waging war on people. You see what I'm saying? So understanding that there's a fear factor there.
Teardrop.
Then, and this is kind of off base, but not really, to flip the channel to another news station, and they're saying the exact same thing that the station before it said.
Called programming.
See what I'm saying? So
called programming.
To see that and to understand and know that that's what that is.
You get the same thing with commercials on radio. And
Yes.
you get the same thing as ads in your phone. And
so our commercials are louder than anything on the TV.
they are. That's statistically done. That's strategically done.
Yes.
On purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why they run them multiple times during an episode. You'll see that same
And the hook
commercial.
on a song is usually the loudest part of the song.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it has to get your
Because
attention.
that's repetition.
And it's saying the same thing.
Repetition. So the best way for me to get you to understand what I'm saying from what I have been taught, what I've picked up over the years, hear it 3 times. You hear something?
Definitely.
3 times. That's all it takes.
You know, because it's things come in threes. You got to have a trio.
It's the trio.
Got to have it.
Yep. It's the Trinity.
Yes.
It's what it is.
At the top. You know.
It's the Trinity. So I'm going to make the first point, and then I'm going to ramble on a little bit, and then I'm going to make the second point, and then I'm going to ramble on a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to repeat those 2 points this last time. And before I walk away, you'll be able to tell me what I said verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
And all I'm looking for is those 3 or that 1 point.
That's also used in writing.
Yep.
It's called a thesis.
Yep.
Everything is just 3. Third wheel don't work though. That's the only
could.
time 3 don't work.
It could.
It could, but it's usually a negative notion to it.
Yeah.
Notation.
But if you center the third wheel, you gotta try it.
But the third wheel is cool when it's when the third wheel is cool with both parties. You know what I'm saying?
Again, it has to be centered. So yeah. It has to be cool with both sides.
Yeah. Because, you know, it's a lot of third wheels that's just awkward. Like, you know, you just, hey, man, come on over here real quick. You know, I'll call somebody over here right now. That person going to be third wheel, but they only know one of us in your house.
Unless,
it's another.
Unless you are capable of helping said third wheel center itself in the room. Okay, yeah. You my guy. You know what I'm saying? You over here with me, but my dude coming over here, you ain't never met him. I mean, introduce you or whatever. We gonna have a blast.
Setting the tone.
I'm gonna set you in the center. Or better yet, I'm gonna set him in the center. Since me and you are already on it, we need to get him in the same spot.
Locked in.
So we're gonna center him. That way, we got balance.
Yeah.
That's it. We ain't gonna fall either way. Because we in the back, we got everything on lock. I got left, you got right. Set him in the center.
Go so, hand in hand.
That's the basis. That's my understanding of what is them girl's name? Oh,
triplets.
No. The movie, the TV show, movie.
Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels, yeah.
Golden Girls was in more than 3. But Charlie's Angels, that's it.
Yeah, no, Golden Girls wouldn't fit. Charlie's Angels would be it. It had all 3. Trifecta.
Right.
Yeah. Life ain't really that bad. You know what I mean? It ain't. I don't think that it's hard at all. I think we tend to make it hard.
Mm-hmm.
not wanting to feel anything, not wanting to let pleasures in that we don't deem useful or necessary. There's a lot of things that people miss out on because they don't pay attention to
small
the
print.
blessings behind an opportunity. I have been wanting to talk to people for some time now, and this is just one of them things. You know what I'm saying? This is another step closer to me actually being able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a blessing for me. You know what I'm saying? That's something that keeps me humble.
Yeah.
That proves to me that humility works. All things in moderation.
No way around it.
It happens when it's supposed to happen. And just be grateful for it.
Just got to go for it.
That's
My mom had a keychain and always said, go for it. I used to ask her, what did that mean? What does that mean? Go for it. Go for it. What does that mean? Go for it. It's just like Nike. Just do it. All that just tells me is you have to apply action.
Yeah.
You just got to do it, man.
That's it.
And if it ain't meant for you, it ain't going to happen. So which means you can't be scared, and you have to also be ready for the consequence, good or bad, that comes from the action that you make, and also have to be conscious enough to know that even if it's a bad choice, that is still going to work out for your good, and you don't have to worry about that either. You learn from the mistake that was made, and you move forward and keep pushing.
That's it. That's it. And I was just finna say, there's no, let me restate. There is a such thing as bad choices. Don't get me wrong. But
Learning experience.
if you don't know, it's like a question. There's no dumb question.
It's that slap on the wrist. It's that, hey.
No, yeah. I mean,
Hey.
But that's just one of them things. See, you can make a bad decision that may cost you a little bit of time. But if you don't take that for what it is, okay, this was a real bad decision.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to learn from it. You're going to turn around and you're going to repeat it again. It may not be the same way you did this time. It may not even land you in the same level of trouble that it did this time. You may not get in trouble for it at all, but you're bound to repeat it.
What can you do? Well, there ain't an action that you can apply that only affects you other than taking a drug. ODing, suicide, those are still all actions that you apply. None of those things do themselves. Like, none of those things do things to you at all. You know?
No.
So
You do it. That's the only way anything can happen to you.
And so, again, you got to be in alignment, have your mind together,
That's it.
and let go of all that other stuff that's making you feel like you need to do those things, which you don't have to.
Though experience is the best teacher. Everybody will agree to that. Everybody will attest to that. Experience is the ultimate teacher.
Some things you ain't got to experience to know you should not do.
That is very true. But for the majority, with the you can't tell me
Nah.
attitude, with the I want to see for myself attitude.
What is the seeing for myself all about? I never understood I gotta see for myself. I feel like I can hear it and just be like, all right, cool.
I think
I'm good.
It's because of the experience.
Yeah.
I don't know through your experience. That's just what you experienced.
I'm also, again, conscious enough to know that, well, it didn't work for you probably because it wasn't for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
but at the same time, it's like what we talked about earlier. How is it that two completely different people be going through the exact same things? You see what I'm saying? So even though we're two different individuals, we're going through the same things, similar things, but the experience affects us completely different.
right.
So it's the experience in it. It's, and in all honesty, I equate it to the need to know. Right? I have a huge yearning to just know. You know what I'm saying? I know I don't know everything. I get that. I'll never know everything. At the same time, I want to know as much as I possibly can.
And I want to know.
That's it.
Why?
The more you know. Doom, doom, doom. Start running across the NBC's TV screen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The more you know. So that's the bottom line. That's the experience. It's the more you know. It's not a bad thing.
No.
I mean, it's definitely not a bad thing.
I like full detail. I like for you to tell me why in detail, not just why, but a detailed why.
Explanation.
Because I want you to tell me in thought form, why did you act like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Now, remember I told you that's that explanation. You know, people don't like explaining themselves. I don't got to explain myself.
Or repeating.
I ain't got to explain myself to you. But you do.
All the time.
Nobody know
when you gossip, when you talk.
where you at. Nobody know what you think, who you are, if you don't explain something about yourself. So, yeah, you do have to explain. Again, I have no problem with that. I will let you know in my entirety what I am, who I am,
right,
how I move. What I'm not going to tell you is my way of thinking, because my way of thinking
ain't yours.
is my way of thinking. Now, if you just so happen to catch hold to it, you know what I'm saying, and be able to understand some aspects of it, I hope it works. You know what I'm saying?
I see
I
some
hope
things
you apply it and it works.
People don't really do is get that research. You gotta have that research, man. You gotta dig in. You gotta dig in and do your own research. And I really, really realized that's essentially what school was about and homework was about. Homework wasn't about going home and doing what I told you and what we worked on in class. Homework was about me showing you something here and you going home to research it, validate it, and come back with some answers. And hopefully you can question me about what I told you.
Yeah.
Because in reality,
due
most
diligence
people,
is what that is. I spent most classrooms last, hour and a half, 2 hours at the most.
Yeah, a lot of most.
I just spent the last 2 hours trying to teach you something, trying to explain some things to you. So now it's up to you to do your due diligence. Take it home, do a little more studying, write me this paper out, and let me see what you got when you come in tomorrow. That's the basis of homework.
Essentially,
to see what you were able
what
to
you willing to, what work you willing to put in.
No, just what did you pick up on these 2 hours we just spent in class today? What did you pick up on? That's what homework is. Show me what you got out of these 2 hours we spent together today. And
for you to grade me on them just means
your grade don't mean nothing. See, that's the tomfoolery that they put parents and kids through.
And that's the separation.
That's the separation.
That's also why I'm gonna keep you over here in this box, because you can't display that you don't even you can't even go home and read.
That's why I'm gonna keep you in this box, because you exhibit way more than everybody else.
But you talk more in class. Yeah. Passing notes.
Yeah.
Not paying attention.
You know, the best student is the one that seems uninterested. The one that's sitting there with his pencil, doodling and folding up pieces of paper. You know what I mean? Completely uninterested. Yep. Completely uninterested. Will be the one to end up with the 4.0 grade average. Statistically.
Yeah, there's that word.
This motherfucking dog.
Cool. I think we covered some things on here. Got a good hour and a half in. Went by.
This is pretty live, man. I told you I had been in front of no microphone in a while. My last encounter with the microphone was during karaoke. So
you know what I'm saying?
This is some live shit. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So till next time, we out.
Dig.